Did you know that the best-selling racket every year is the AT10 by Agustín Tapia? Well, NOX has introduced not one, but 4 new versions of the racket from the Mozart of Catamarca. So do you wanna know which one is harder? Which one has more power? Or if it's really worth upgrading from last year's model? Well, I'm gonna do power and ball output tests and even try to guess which is which just by its sound. So let's start by understanding the technical differences between the 4 rackets. And the first thing we need to know is that the rackets differ in 2 aspects, the mold and the carbon, and this results in 4 different rackets. One hybrid-shaped racket with 18K carbon, another with 12K, and the same for the diamond-shaped ones. And the big news here is the Attack 12K in a diamond shape, because this combination didn't exist last year and it promises to be the most powerful, as we will see later. Well, the 4 rackets share the most important features. First, the MLD Black EVA foam, which is a foam with double density in a hard medium hard format. Second, all the grips are 12.5 centimeters, not that bad, and come with the custom grip, which I personally don't like that much, but it's included, so it's fine. Third, they all have the same rough finish, which is a double rough texture this year, and that is one of the new features. The 2024 AT10s had sandy rough, but NOX tested the double rough in the limited edition of Tapia's racket. So now all the new 2025 AT10s include that double rough with 3D in the center and the sandy in the rest. But what is the main problem with the sandy rough? Well, the more you use the racket, the more it wears off. In fact, check out how the rough has worn down on last year's rackets that I've used. The new 3D rough will not wear down at all, but is less effective. And another new feature by request from Agustín Tapia himself is the butt cap. Well, you probably know that Agustín Tapia used to take this plastic tape and put it at the bottom of the grip for more stability. But now the butt cap is octagonal, different from the round one in 2024. And I'm not gonna argue with Agustín, but I prefer the round one to change grip easier. And now it's time to test them, and I'm gonna start with something fun. So can I guess each racket just by the sound? Well, this is the AT10 blind challenge. 18K attack, 12K híbrida, 12K attack, 18K. Well, as you saw, the differences in hardness are hard to notice just by the sound. But later we will see that the 12K carbon is slightly stiffer than the 18K. But this difference is not huge because the carbon doesn't affect the hardness that much. And in the AT10s, the foam and other materials are the same. But it is true that the 12K changes more depending on the temperatures compared to the 18K. So in really hot weather, the differences might decrease. But now let's go to the ball output test, because in theory the 12K should have less ball output. And of course, now the main test, the power test. I smashed 5 balls with each racket to measure the average distance of my smashes. And the results might surprise you, because the 12K hybrid is for me the most powerful. But why? Well, because since I don't have superhuman strength, I prioritize rackets that are easier to handle, and this one allows me to accelerate better than the 12K attack. But obviously, if you are a stronger player and can accelerate the attack 12K enough, it might be your best option. Well, beyond the numbers, it's time to talk about feel, because they are all very similar rackets, but there are some differences. And starting with defense, I was really curious to see how the new Attack 12K would perform. And I have to admit that I've never been a fan of diamond rackets, mainly because of the sweet spot. And defending with the Attack 12K, you definitely feel like you have to push the ball more and with the sweet spot being higher than the 12K hybrid, it was tougher for me. Actually, none of the AT10s are super hard rackets, but you can notice differences between the 12K and the 18K when defending. In fact, with the Attack 18K, I felt more comfortable than with the Attack 12K because it has a bit more ball output, which helps when you're at the back of the court. But if I had to choose the best AT10 for defense, it would be the 18K hybrid, but why? Well, simply as it has the largest sweet spot of the four, making it the most forgiving and the easiest to feel comfortable. Plus, with a bit more ball output than the 12K, you have to put in less effort, and I appreciate that. The 12K hybrid moves just as well as the 18K, but is less forgiving and might take a little more time to get used to. But when we move to volleys, it's a different story. The 18K hybrid performs great, but I prefer a little extra punch, so I tend to go for a 12K. And between the two 12Ks, I have to go with the hybrid for my playstyle because I prefer a more centered sweet spot and a better maneuverability. Think that in the end, the 12K attack is more technically demanding, and if you can hit it well when attacking, you will get an extra boost. But I prefer to be a bit more conservative and stick with the 12K hybrid. But anyway, what about bandejas and víboras? Well, here is the same story as with volleys. So my favorite is the 12K hybrid because it's my perfect balance between hardness, sweet spot and agility. And my second favorite is the 18K hybrid because it's more forgiving than the 12K. But let's quickly sum up the sensations these four AT10s gave me and their main differences. But to start, all the AT10s are top rackets that you feel comfortable with from the very first moment. But actually 95% of the new AT10 is the same from the previous years, so if you already have the 2024 version and are not interested in the double rough texture, the octagonal bad cap or the new Attack 12K, there is not much reasons to upgrade unless your racket is asking for a replacement. Well, the 18K aluminized, the one Agustín Tapia uses, is the most comfortable because it has the biggest sweet spot and is the softest of the four. It will help you in every area: defense, attack, volleys, bandejas. It's without a doubt the ultimate all-rounder, and I give it a 9. Then there is the 12K hybrid, which is a bit harder, meaning that the sweet spot and comfort decrease a bit, but you gain in power and control. This one is my favorite because it's still super maneuverable and comfortable, but with a lot of potential, so for me it's my personal 10. The Attack 18K sacrificed some comfort compared to the regular 18K, as it has a higher sweet spot and is a little less easy to move. But what it gains is power, so if you're looking for a powerful racket that is not super stiff, the 18K attack is an incredible option. And finally, the 12K attack, which is the most powerful and technical of the four. It has the smallest sweet spot and the least ball output, so if you don't have sharp technique, you might struggle to get the most out of it. But if you are one of those players who can generate your own power, this racket will reward you more than any other. Well, tell me if you have any doubt regarding the new AT10s in the comments, and also tell me if you wanna watch a new review of Libak, Ausburger and Lamberti's new rackets. Thank you so much for watching this video and see you in the next one. Ciao!